Why shouldn't you let friends stay in your house like it's a hotel? No matter how kind you are, don't let relatives come recover in your home for too long either. No matter how much you love kids, don't let your relatives' children move in with you. And no matter how much you enjoy the atmosphere, don't turn your house into the place where everyone gathers to eat and hang out. Let me tell you a story and you'll understand everything. In California, there was a 68-year-old woman living alone. She had no children and no close family around her. One day, she ordered food delivery. When the delivery driver arrived, she grabbed his hand and said, "Young man, starting tomorrow, I want you to come knock on my door every single day. I'll give you $10 a day. If I open the door, you can leave knowing I'm fine. But if one day I don't open it, call the building management and come in with them." The young man thought about it for a moment and agreed. From that day on, rain or shine, he showed up right on time. Every day she would open the door and hand him his $10. Over time, the young man started staying a little longer to talk with her. Sometimes he even brought tamales his wife had made. He also helped her clean the house and move heavy things around. Little by little, the two of them built a life that felt warm, calm, and almost like family. By the second year, the woman had already realized that he truly treated her like his own grandmother. So she offered him the extra room so he and his family could stay there. By the third year, her health started getting worse. One day she took his hand and said, "Thank you for staying with me all these years. Now I finally feel like I wasn't alone in this life. Besides this house, I also want to leave you my savings. It's $70,000. But the story doesn't end there. The most important part comes next. Sometime later, the young man got a job at a Porsche dealership. One day, a very elegant woman walked into the showroom and pointed at the flashiest Porsche there. She asked, "How much is it?" He answered without hesitation, $5 million. The woman decided to buy it, but right before she paid, she asked, "Don't you think I'm being too impulsive?" That was the most delicate moment. If he said no, she might think he only wanted to close the sale. If he said yes, he might lose the deal. So he said this, "Ma'am, when you drive this Porsche out of here, everyone is going to turn and look. A lot of people are going to want one just like it. The difference is, you are the only one who has the ability to turn that impulse into reality. Everyone else will only be able to admire it from a distance." The woman smiled and paid on the spot. After closing the sale, he went back home and asked the older woman, "Should I take my coworkers out to eat? If I don't, maybe they'll get jealous and start talking." She answered firmly, "Of course not. Go thank that client instead. Taking your coworkers out does nothing. The day you quit, they'll forget you. But if you build a relationship with someone who truly has influence, that person can open doors for you that you can't even imagine." He listened to her. He went and thanked the client personally. Less than a month later, the woman came back and upgraded to an even more expensive Porsche. He earned another $80,000 in commission. Then he asked the older woman again, "Okay, now should I take her out to eat?" She shook her head and said, "No, give her $50,000 in cash instead." He was completely shocked, but he obeyed her anyway. A few days later, that woman came back to the dealership with two friends. All three of them bought Porsches, and he earned another $160,000 in commissions. That was when he finally understood everything. From then on, every time that client brought in friends to buy cars, he gave her half his commission and also sent thoughtful gifts. In less than a year, he made more than $2 million, and because of his performance, the company even gave him a brand new Porsche. Sometime later, his brother-in-law wanted to buy his used Mercedes for $150,000, but the older woman told him, "List it for $250,000. His brother-in-law got upset right away and said, "That's ridiculously expensive. Rich people really are stingy. They won't even give family special treatment." Even the young man didn't understand it, but the older woman insisted. "First sell it to someone else for $250,000. Then give your brother-in-law $50,000 and tell him, with this $50,000 plus the $150,000 you already had, now you can buy yourself a brand new car worth $200,000. He asked her, confused, "And what's the point of that?" That was when she gave him the most valuable answer of all. If you sell it to him for $150,000, he won't thank you. He'll think you still made money off family. But if he first sees that the car is actually worth $250,000 and that other people are willing to pay that much, then he understands its real value. And when you give him $50,000 after that, he won't see it as something you were supposed to do. He'll see it as a huge favor, and he'll be grateful for the rest of his life. The young man looked at her in amazement and asked, "How are you always right? How do you see things so clearly before they even happen?" The older woman just smiled, walked over to the bookshelf, pulled out a book, and handed it to him. "Take it home. Read it all the way through, and you'll understand that in this world, the most powerful thing is not money or power. It's a way of thinking that makes people respect you. Wise people know this clearly. If you're going into the water, first understand which way the current flows. And if you're going to deal with people, first learn to understand the human heart. Wealthy families teach their children from a young age how to deal with people, how to think strategically, and how to understand how the world really works. Ordinary families, on the other hand, often only focus on putting their children into more classes, more courses, more activities. But the truth is this: a child can dance incredibly and still not know how to handle people. He can get straight A's and end up working 60 hours a week, exhausted, making someone else rich.